Thank you for participating in the Paddle for a Cause presented by the Dean Randazzo Cancer Foundation. My name is Giunta. I'm the race director, and I'll be taking you on a virtual tour of the course that you'll be paddling on June 11th out of Atlantic City, New Jersey. Paddle for a Cause will take you into the Atlantic City Inlet. This is about a mile stretch until you're into the Atlantic Ocean. At the end of the long jetty, you're going to proceed south. Your first landmark will be on your right-hand side, the Revel Casino. Paddlers remain heading south, paddling past the world-famous Steel Pier. You'll now be passing the newly renovated playground. You'll pass the historic Boardwalk Hall. On your right, you'll see many of Atlantic City's world-class casinos. You're now passing the future site of Stockton University. Paddling into Ventnor City. Major landmark will be the Ventnor Pier, at which point you will be 6 miles into the race. This is about the halfway point for the ocean portion of the race. After paddling past the Ventnor Pier, your next landmark will be the Margate Fishing Pier. Paddlers are encouraged to stay clear of the fishing piers. After passing the Margate Pier, you will have approximately 2 miles until the Longport Inlet. Longport Inlet can be technical with currents and tide. If you're not familiar with this inlet, paddle along with someone who's done it before. There will be 2 support boats and multiple jet skis if assistance is needed. The best way to take on the inlet is to draw a straight line between the 2 rock piles. Paddlers will then head north through the back bay of Longport. Most paddlers tend to hug the shoreline to avoid winds, currents, and boat traffic. Your first landmark behind Longport is the JFK Bridge. Our next major landmark is Lamberti's Restaurant. At the end of the pier is a water station, and the Margate City Fire Department will be located there if first aid is needed. Coming up to the mile stretch, at which point you are 15 miles into the paddle. This is a straight stretch of back bay that, when it's windy, will provide you with some much needed relief, as you still have 7 miles to go. There'll be plenty of support boats in the back bay to direct you along the way. Next up is the Dorset Avenue Bridge, home of the Ventnor Coffee Shop. Next up, paddlers will be approaching Atlantic City. The water behind Atlantic City tends to often be very calm, and it makes for excellent paddling. Next is the Albany Avenue Bridge, but before you get there, look to your right. It's the Wonder Bar. You may see paddlers sitting on the deck from the 4 to the 8 mile paddle. Off in the distance, you can see the Borgata as you pass historic Bader Field. Welcome to the Atlantic City Expressway Bridge. You're almost home. Look for a boat parked in front of the canal, as you will be taking this point to cut through. Paddlers, you will proceed through the Venice Park Canal. This is a tight, narrow stretch with very low bridges. Stand-up paddlers may be required to drop to their knees to fit underneath one of the bridges. Passing directly behind the Borgata, paddlers should take note as the windy back bay portion is very shallow, but passable by paddle. You're almost home as you pass Harris Bay Walk. Your last hard push home takes you under the Brigantine Bridge. Proceed with caution as currents and tides can rip under that bridge. Turning back into the Golden Nugget Farley State Marina, on the right-hand side, you'll see the finish line. Congratulations, you have just finished the 22-mile Paddle for a Cause. You should be extremely proud of your accomplishments. Not only have you just completed one of the hardest paddleboard races in the world, you have also helped to raise money to help people financially who are battling cancer.